everyone. People searching for a gracious person who wants to inspire by listening to stories of extraordinary things. I'm Saima, your host. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be here. Without waiting anymore, let's dive right in. My guest is practicing energy work for nearly 20 years. My quest is to teach everyone how to release stress and emotions through subtle energy body awareness. This is Reiki, quantum healing, biofield tuning, acupressure, and more for energy balancing their clients so they feel a new way of being, operating from a coherent frequency of love, healing frequency. Everyone can heal. We just all have to learn how it feels to love ourselves fully and completely. And without waiting anymore, let me bring Kim on. Hello.
Hi. Hey there. Thank you so much for having me.
Giving a chance to our guests to do an introduction about themselves and to so it's your it's you know it is yours and you can talk about put your own horn or do whatever you'd like. It goes.
Okay. Well, yeah, so I just wanted to tell a little bit about my story and how I got interested in this stuff. So, what was really coming up to me was when I was younger, I was having trouble with my feet. I was probably like 8 years old, and my mom had taken me to a doctor a podiatrist, and he was like, oh yes, we have to break all the bones in her feet and realign them, and that will fix all of her problems. And then she was a little suspicious because the next visit we came in there and there was one lady getting it done and another lady getting it done. They were like, oh, you definitely want to do it now at this age, get it done before this time. And she kind of just questioned it. And we moved on and went to another doctor, second opinion. And we just found out that everybody has their own way, their own focus and their own idea of what will help someone. And you kind of have to figure out what works for you. So that kind of led me on my quest as I got older. When I was older, I was having trouble with my back and a lot of lower back pain. So my mom took me to a massage therapist who taught me how to do certain stretches. And that was really fascinating to me. And then I had a friend who went to a chiropractor who said, well, now that you're 16, your bones are set. That's just how it is. You're going to have chiropractic adjustments 2-3 times a week the rest of your life. And I thought that was a silly perspective because I just had learned how to stretch and realign and take care of so many things. So then again, that just led me on this quest to really figure out how to help people to heal themselves, because clearly not every one method, one doctor, one way of study was going to be a good fit. Which is important to be okay with taking on lots of debt to be a doctor. And then I also wasn't really interested in working 60 to 80 hours a week and studying and all that, as long as it would take. So after the third year in school, I switched and I started checking out all sorts of different things and started studying anthropology. I had a professor who was a nurse who lived in the Mayan area of Chiapas. And so I learned a lot from her about the different ways that different cultures looked at medicine and how to heal. And that really fascinated me. And I knew I wanted to study more of a more world perspective, like how to really heal. And then that led me, as I finished up college, I ran into someone and they did Reiki. And my mom had just told me how this woman had done Reiki on her ankle when she twisted it very badly at a gathering at someone's house, and it didn't hurt. And she always twisted that ankle and it always was bad for weeks. So that was like, oh yeah, I need to learn that. And after I got into studying that, I was just fascinated with how amazing it was that we could all learn how to tap into this energy that's all around us. We could all learn how to get quiet and learn how to really get energy moving through us. And so I started to study more and more what I was sensing. What is this stuff that I'm doing? And really dug into it. So it was really fascinating. And it's just been this long exploration. I went into ophthalmology for a while, and I worked there as a technician and an assistant. And then I moved into counseling patients and being a surgical coordinator and a patient counselor and helping them to make decisions and understand what they want and how to communicate with the doctor, which is so important. And while at the same time working on my own practice and really learning different ways. I wanted to make sure I could explain to people what I was doing and really connect with people who are kind of newbies to the whole idea of energy, body, and healing, and that there is energy meridians flowing through our body. And if we can get all that to be realigned, we can be in really, really good health. So that's kind of what I did and what happened. Oh, I'm losing your sound. Let me move a little. I've lost you. I can't hear you. Can you hear me? Okay.
Are you able to hear me now?
Now I've got you. Thank you.
Okay, so now I'm on my computer audio, so it seems like maybe the mic isn't working. Anyways, so you've been doing this for 20 years, right, Kim?
Yeah, I started, it's almost 20 years. It's 19 years right now.
So what has energy healing done for you?
Well, gosh, a big one was really learning how to manage my stress. While I was working at the ophthalmology practice, I was having a really hard time managing stress. It was really fast-paced practice. So the doctor liked to keep us super, super busy and moving constantly with barely any breaks. And I was having a lot of eczema. I was starting to have some issues with some inflammation in my body systemically, digestive issues. And so I just really dug into like, what is happening? How can I release the stress that I'm holding? How can I pace myself better? How can I kind of adapt to this work environment better? And so I spent a long time trying to do that. And then I realized, I don't have to work here. I can work full time on the energy practice in order to improve how I feel and really be available in a better way. I was working literally so hard with energy work when I would come home.
Yeah.
Heal my body, to help with the eczema that was flaring up, to help mitigate all this inflammation. So I literally would spend so much time every day managing this. And then I was like, why am I having to do that and this? And then, so I'd started working there part-time so I could have more time to really build my private practice, working energy medicine and doing all this. And then I realized I don't need to do that anymore.
So let me ask you such an essential question, which most people don't realize, and it just doesn't dawn on them. The evil of stress, what stress does to you, what stress does to your body. And the impact of stress is so long lasting that what you're doing to yourself for decades, right? It starts manifesting itself in the worst possible ways.
Yeah, I mean, it's what I really started to embrace. So I was also kind of skeptical of Reiki and energy medicine and the aura in the beginning, like that's why I didn't dive into it full on. I wanted to see like, is this really a thing? And so I started to really study clients and their energy bodies and what I was sensing in their field, because their energy field was a thing. I learned a new modality, the Biofield Tuning, and really started to hone in on what this meant, the divine masculine, the divine feminine, and where it was in the body. And what does that mean? What emotion are they holding? And then it was like, oh, like we literally can be holding emotions in all day, which is so unhealthy, and it does cause stress and then develops inflammation. And if we hold it long enough over days and weeks and months, that part of our body will actually get sick. So we do hold our emotions in our physical body, which prevents the energy from flowing through the rest of it. It creates like a dam. So what we want to do is really get a little more familiar and a little more aware of our subtle energy and our emotions and how we're holding it, because we need our energy to flow through us like a river so our emotions can flow out into the earth. So they're not staying around. So we're not throwing emotions at other people. That's not very healthy for them. And it's certainly not healthy for us to just be throwing emotions everywhere at people, like, and throwing energy at them. They don't want to be around that. People will want to, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like that process of learning how to unwind your inner self from a different perspective. Because there's, talk therapy is one way to do it, but it's really helpful to visualize it. Then you really work more on the subconscious level, the energy level.
I mean, those are such powerful words, and I don't think people understand it. You said energy level, you said subconscious, you said mind. I think as individuals, we are created complete with our heart and mind and soul and conscience. We are complete beings. We just have to tap into those different tools that we have been given by our creator, and the way that we have. I read something so powerful today, where it said that we are created to self-heal. And this really good friend of mine, he continuously says that we are created to self-heal. And that is like, it's actually just such a kind of, it hits you that we're looking outside for all these resources and medication for healing,
and for this person to tell us what to do, and for this doctor to tell us that we're okay, and that for this other doctor to tell us that maybe we're not okay and we should try this instead. So it's like, it's that process of recognizing we actually are our own best healers. And that's the one thing that I studied with sound therapy, which was incredible, is your intention and emotion travels on sound, right? So the sound wave carries a lot of information. So by singing, you can be your own best healer also. Like, you can sing in a way that's filled with joy and love, and then it really harmonizes through your whole body and can release the stress, so your energy will actually flow back in again. And so, like, there's so many neat ways to do it, and it's just really about encouraging people to find and try new things and try new ways of doing it.
Tap into our just tap into our own internal resources, things which, self-love, love for yourself, love for your own desires.
It's the hardest one, though. The self-love is to fully love yourself is like the hardest, there's so many layers to it.
Right? But these are just such simple things. Self-love, making time for yourself, listening to yourself, because your body tells you that, hey, you are doing me wrong. You're abusing me. You're like, it's giving these indications for you to stop tormenting yourself. And then, there's a huge price to pay when you don't tap into your own self, where all the natural resources lie, right?
Yeah. And it's like around us outside is a super harmonious balancing frequency generator, like the entire planet. When you're in the woods, away from the noise of the city and the hum of your electrical equipment, your computer and your your refrigerator and stuff, and you get outside in the woods and you're immersed in it. Within 20 minutes, your body is actually reset. Takes about 20 minutes, and you not being on a cell phone, but like really being aware of the birds that you can hear. How many? The bugs, how many sounds are you hearing? Where's the wind in the leaves? Can you hear it? And then you start to listen and expand your awareness outside of the box that we all tend to live in, our car or our house or the office. But really give ourselves that 20 minutes, and it can reset so many things. And then the subconscious piece too that I've really learned is it's in theta wave. And so there's different brain waves that they've studied, and you can reset your subconscious by being in theta waves. And theta, we all get into theta waves, and they've studied this through imagination. So when you can visualize something that you're doing, you can help reprogram and retrain your subconscious, because your subconscious is your autopilot, right? So it's designed to recognize certain stimuli and recognize how to protect yourself from it. The problem is it's programmed mostly from age of 0 to 7. So your ability to really assess what a true threat is at 7 versus at 40 is pretty different. So it's like, if you can shift that autopilot to recognize, hey, if someone's yelling, it's not a threat. It doesn't have to mean it's a threat to me. It means they're hurting, they're upset, they're not managing their stress well. I don't have to engage with their yelling, but it doesn't mean that they're going to attack me and beat me. And I'm, like a child would imagine at, say, age 5. They're going to feel
the problem is we internalize it all, right? We all take it personally, and
yeah.
And,
right? That's the worst part, is taking it like, oh no, I made them mad and now they're yelling at me. It's my fault. Like, we all do that as kids,
Yeah.
But it's like, as an adult, we get to say, they're having a really bad day. It's got nothing to do with me. I'm going to go do this until they can calm down and we can talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we did was, and before I talk about the energy healing, we actually did a video and we shot it a couple of days ago, and Kim worked on me, and we'll kind of fast forward it and go through it and show it to people, and then we'll come back and we'll discuss the impact and how I'm feeling over these past 2-3 days, how it made me feel this energy healing. But before we do that, I definitely want to say something, that our brain that we have been gifted with is such a powerful tool. If we learn to control our brain instead of our brain controlling us, if we realize that we can actually control our brain, and we can control the thoughts which come in our head, the words that go through our head, our mind, they are so powerful, and they have the strength to just change. We have the strength to write our story, because I am a prime example, Kim, and I know your journey is much longer, but for myself, in 2016, we took a business hit, and it just had a tremendous impact on my family. And when we took that hit, there were other things also which were happening in my life, and I was just in such a difficult place, because I was like, for me, it was like a survival point, and it was, okay, I've got to take myself out of this space that I'm stuck in. And when I started working on that space, it was, bless you. Thank you. It was, for me, that's where my journey began. I was like, okay, there's something in my psyche, or in my energy, or in my subconscious, which is just, I'm in the eye of the storm, and I'm being hit from every angle, every direction. And it was just so overwhelming for me. I was like, okay, but at the end of the day, we are the only ones who hold that key to changing our life. And then that's the journey. I started my own journey, me knocking on different doors, and which is literally what I was doing. Just anyone would tell me something, I would go here, I would go there. I was just going everywhere, knocking doors, trying to figure out how do I change my energy so I can change what I am subconsciously attracting.
Right.
And
it in.
and that's kind of where, right now you're here. It's been a 5-year-long journey to bring me to this point where I feel I'm at peace with myself. And I don't like to engage in, if someone is getting upset, I literally like to walk away from there. Because obviously if they're raving and ranting, it has to do with whatever their stress and everything, all the chaos that is within them. And I don't want to be a part of it. But, because it's taken me so much hard work of working on myself for my soul searching to bring myself to this point where I am right now.
Right. And it's like, once you have that and you've worked so hard for it, you're not interested in letting it go so easily. And it helps you to shift a little bit more in, like, who do I want to spend time with? Well, I want to spend time with people who
build me,
shape me, and help me to feel, and and they amplify the good stuff, and we can have fun together. And it's not that much conflict. If it's constant conflict, it's like, maybe it's just not a good fit, and I love that. And that's what I had to come to too with my I called it my anchor job, because I was really nervous about taking the plunge of doing this stuff full time. Like, woo, like that was really scary to me, because I had the anchor job, and we had our business, but we never relied on our business fully for complete income. So it was mostly my regular paycheck that we relied upon. And then I was like, wait, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
I don't believe that what I love, which is energy medicine, is good. Like, I need to be putting my money where my mouth is and take that plunge and quit doing a job that I'm not loving. Like, it filled a need, it filled a nice need. I wanted to help people and talk to people and help guide them and help them make better decisions. But it wasn't my passion. Like, my passion is teaching people how to heal themselves. Like, we can all be empowered to heal. And that was like, the minute that switch flipped was really important to me. And then it was also about me healing that feeling of lack, that's a big wound that a lot of us carry, is that feeling like, oh, worry, financial hardships, and I had quit my anchor job right before the pandemic, actually. I quit it in January, and then in March was kind of when the crapola hit the fan. And but that was all right, because then I really learned how important what I do is, and how people really can get the benefits from it and learn how to work on it themselves. And then when they get stuck, they just come back and we practice and learn more, and then they unwind a new part of themselves. It's really fascinating.
So Kim, let's go ahead and play that video that we shot, and I will try to. I did have my marketing team condense it from the 45 minutes, so it's condensed to 7 minutes. But I'll try to skip some more bits and pieces just to show people how you do energy healing, and that also I know that I have friends who have messaged me. So I want to make sure that they can actually see that you do this virtually as well. And so let's go ahead and play that video.
Okay.
Here goes.
Okay, so what I'm going to be doing today is just doing some energy balancing. I'm going to check in on your body and your energy body, and work on getting everything realigned so that your energy is centered around your physical body. We're going to get everything flowing and overlaying and really balanced and nice. But it starts with you laying back and getting really usually do. But take like a nice deep breath in through your nose and have your hands just below your belly button on your stomach, your lower stomach, like that. Yeah. And nice slow exhale. And what you're looking for is to just focus your awareness on your body beneath your hands and how that feels. Good. And we're just trying to get the energy to flow from your stomach all the way down through your legs so it can create a nice grounding. So you just rest there like that and just really nice steady breath and
Kim, do my legs
letting everything go.
Do my legs need to be laid out straight, flat?
Whatever feels good, doesn't matter. Yeah.
Okay.
So now I'm going to just keep working on your head because I've got your, so there's still a little bit of holding around your hips.
Around
So
my
just
head or hips?
Your hips.
Okay. What does that mean?
So just kind of tune into the area and see if you can sense a particular color or shape. In that area, in the lower back, hips. A lot of that area is just tied with holding on, not allowing yourself to do fun things right now, and you're waiting and you have like this list of things you have to do first, so you deny yourself going to play or do fun things because you have to get certain things done first. Switch the way we look at things. You're allowed to
do with letting go of things? Does it have to do with letting go of things?
It's just switching the way that you look at stuff. So we're allowed to play anytime we want. We just maybe have to play while we're doing things that we have to do. So like you can have fun music playing, you can sing and dance while you're doing certain things. You know, you have to drive somewhere. Great, play your favorite music and have fun. Roll down the windows, let the wind blow through your hair. Like you don't have to make everything worky. You can make it a lot more fun and playful. So like it's just allowing yourself to be like, oh yeah, you're right, hip. It's time to do something fun in a playful way. And it can still be stuff you have to do, but you can just do it in a more fun, playful way. Does that make sense?
It does. And I am usually ready to have fun. I think this probably might also be coming from years of perhaps waiting. You know.
Yeah. So let's go to the very first time. Let's sit with that so it can really soften at the root. And what we want to do is imagine all of that baggage of like, gosh, I have to wait. That kind of baggage. That's that feeling, right?
Yes.
Ugh, I have to wait. You know, like, let's take that baggage and we're going to take it and we're going to pull it out. And we're just going to hand it over to the angels, the healing guides, and let them process that for you. Because you don't need to hold on to that baggage. That's like old stuff, old stories. As an adult, you're choosing to wait because you're making the choice to actively engage. So it's not like you're like, oh, I have to wait. It's like, I'm choosing to wait. It's okay, you know? But as a kid, we're like, oh gosh, I have to wait. So we want to take that baggage in a nice big chunk, offer it up to your healing guides, your angels, let them just take it from you. And just like, let that soften. Okay, we're going to take another chunk of that baggage that I have to wait because someone told me to. We're going to take that and we're going to take that over here. And then we're going to hand it off. We're just going to put it over here. We're going to imagine a beautiful golden, like a big tub of golden energy. And what this golden energy does is this energy that is going to melt the baggage. And as it's melting the baggage, all the wisdom from that experience is going to come up and bubble up as that baggage. So how are you feeling?
I think I went through multiple emotions. I went through a moment where there was just, I just feel like all this breeze kind of around my hands,
Yeah.
and then also was feeling just this illumination. And then also, some different thoughts at one point started going through, and that's when you stopped me and you said you're feeling something on the left side.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
So, just relaxed and just feeling, feeling
Do
this
something
flow.
now. So I had you put your hands on your stomach below your belly button before we started, right? And breathe into it. I want you to do the same thing again. And then exhale. And just be aware of your body beneath your hands and see how much you can be aware of. And the flow, energy flowing, feels like either a breeze, static, fuzziness, warmth, tingling sensation. So see how far you can sense that beneath your hands. You'll know.
Okay.
Yeah, trust yourself. You'll know. But you just want to melt all that stuff. You don't need to hold it and carry it anymore. And it weighs you down. It's heavy. It pulls on you. That's no good. So just like dump it in there.
Okay, so we weren't planning on playing the whole video of 7.5 minutes, but even I was intrigued. So I was just watching to see, myself, because the other day when we were actually doing it, I couldn't see what was happening. But so that was a couple of days ago when you did the healing session. And now, after a couple of days, like I messaged you this morning and you asked me, and I was telling you that I'm feeling all this pressure, like lack of blood flow in my hands. And then you told me to, to kind of visualize it and to, manage it with my mind and to try to let all of it, just visualize that there's are you back?
Yes.
Okay. So okay, that's internet, but I've changed my location. I wanted a little bit more space for today's session. So but you said to visualize like there's a cylinder here and it's pouring into, and put my hands underneath my stomach, and it's like uh, what was that, Kim?
Well, what I learned, so in a lot of energy modalities, they'll tell you to get your grounding by growing a tail from your tailbone and visualizing it dropping into the earth. Or some will say let roots grow out of your feet, but I found that's not big enough. We have a lot of stuff coming at us and stress. And I learned this new method, and Janet Wright's my teacher, and she has you imagine a wide cylinder all the way out, like almost 6 feet. Start like right below here and go all the way down into the earth with that cylinder. And then let that cylinder drop all the way to the center of the core of the earth. And that gives you that connection. It's like it creates a tunnel, a chute. She calls it your grounding. So your grounding has to be this big cylinder all the way to the center of the earth. And what happens is when you connect to the center of the earth, it creates a magnetic pull. So stress can roll right off of you, and it will go into the earth. So that way you can just allow, just that good energy to pull in from the crown, roll down your back, and release that stress out through your feet into the earth through that big giant cylinder. Does that make sense?
And then you said to visualize that all your stress is just
Going down the chute.
through into the earth and to the center of the earth, to the core of the earth, and then once it gets there, just visualize that it's transforming and coming back out in the form of healing.
You let that drop into the earth, and whatever you give to the earth, because we're in a universe where energy is not created. It has to be transformed into something. So energy just doesn't disappear. It goes and does something else. So you release that stress. So it's an energy block actually. So when I say baggage, it's actually a hard energy, a hard chunk of energy that has no flow, and we have to move that out. So we're taking that energy chunk and dropping it into the earth, and in exchange, we get to pull up earth energy, which is calm the energy, so then you have more space in your physical body for your energy body to fit and flow through, because your energy body is this big and then your physical body's in the center. We're usually taught that it's our physical body and nothing else, right? So when I started really studying it with Reiki, is I learned about all the energy meridians through the physical body. There's all these energy meridians. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then I allowed that to expand out a little bit, like you had this little aura. But actually, your energy body can be really big. We don't have to limit the size of it. It can be not just the 6 feet big and 6 feet above, like in several feet above us. It can actually be even bigger than that. So why limit it? But you want to make sure there's a flow all the way down through your physical body.
Visualizing that this is all your stress and it's just going in, and it's like a cylinder and it's just going in, and you're visualizing that it's just going through our body, through our feet, and just going into the earth, and just the power of the mind, right?
Yeah, well, it's not even, and don't even limit it to your having to go through your physical body. Let it go through your whole energy body and drop down. Like your aura is this big.
Okay, so it's just going through, and it's just going through the earth and going.
Because your aura has layers to it, and your aura holds stress, and you want your aura to release stress too. So that's why you want to have a nice big wide grounding. So that cylinder should be big as your whole aura, so that you can just drop little blocks and stress off of your aura into your grounding. And the more you play with this, the more you become aware of. So I limited, because I was in the beginning, I was really stuck on like what science can prove and show. And so I had to see research about energy healing and sound therapy and low frequency healing and extremely low frequency healing called ELF studies they did in the 70s and 80s. And with HeartMath Institute, they studied about coherent fields, and incoherent is stress, and coherent means it's flowing through the whole thing. So, so it's just basically like you don't end at your physical body. Your physical body is actually just the physical part of it, but your whole body, your energy body is like this, all around you.
The aura around us, and it's
all around us. Everything has an energy field. So ours changes based on our emotions and activity level and how we feel. So we want to let all the little heavy energies, we want to give ourselves space and time to imagine that nice bubble around us and a nice giant cylinder dropping off of that into the earth to provide a little space for us to drop these heavy energy blocks out, because they're not just in the physical body, they're also in your field. So my expansion of understanding has shifted over time, where I was so focused on working people's bodies with acupressure, tuning forks, Reiki, that I neglected the bigger part, the whole energy field. So by working the whole energy field now and then coming in, it really shifts how things move. It's a little bit, people get a longer lasting effect. So it's like, that's why I wanted you to check in on your grounding today, and kind of like, I'll make a copy. Like I imagine you here, and then your cylinder copy that should go all the way to the earth. I'll kind of comb through it as I imagine it. and just check and make sure that you don't have stress. And so I did this earlier before we met on the podcast, and I checked, and you were holding some stress in the back of the grounding. So like right below your tailbone was some stress. And so I just imagined wrapping that in gold light and moving that away. So that way it was more flowing again. So you could feel grounded and not scattered or stressed, but grounded and centered and move through things easily and stay calm. But I just kind of checked in on that. And I was curious if you wanted to put your hands back below your belly button again and just check in and see how that feels. If you can feel like a flow. You know how you're saying it was like wind?
Yes.
Do you feel that?
I just started feeling it.
Isn't that nice?
I just feel this coolness
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Just
And it's just
coolness.
And it's just you allowing it because it's always there. It's just it gets stopped up and blocked. And then when you pause and just notice, then it flows. You got it? Isn't that the coolest thing ever? I love it. I just think it's amazing. And everyone can learn how to do that. And just you doing that now, all that stress from today is just flowing off of you into the earth. And it's just rolling right off of you, which is so healing. And you're doing it. You're just letting it flow out.
Wow, that's
Isn't that
so powerful.
It is very
It's just nothing. It's just literally training your mind to the power of the mind, and to visualize that you are just taking all this stress out of your body, and it's just flowing out and just
the
going
waterfall.
earth into the core of the earth. And then because energy cannot be, you can't get rid of energy, so you are just converting that again, the power of your brain, right? You're visualizing and you're believing that it's coming back out as positivity and as positive energy and as calmness and happiness and peacefulness.
How nice is that, right? That's so nice. And then what's cool about that too is you can even tap your fingers in your palm and just imagine gold light coming out of them. Just imagine. You tap them and they kind of tingle. So do that right now. Let's do that together. Just tap them, tap your palm a little bit, and just imagine golden light coming out of your fingers, okay?
Oh my God. I'm feeling this breeze coming out of my hand.
Isn't that so nice? So your hand is really, your energy body goes out to here, and we limit it, and we try to just be in our physical body, which is so restrictive. So let it open up and flow, and then imagine it's golden light, okay? Then you can just kind of comb through your own body. So if you can't imagine a copy of yourself in front of you and comb through it, I mean, it took me years to be able to do that. So don't worry, that's a little advanced, but you can just comb through your own body and just imagine gold light flowing through, and you're going to open any little energy blocks within your body, and you're going to get that flow really amped up again. You just kind of comb through, and you can comb through and get the neck. And if you want to make your fingers longer, just imagine them really long so you can comb all the way the back and pull down through your back. Like, it's so nice. Like, you can just.
The crazy thing is that it's this coolness that I'm just feeling. That's so crazy.
And literally everybody is capable of doing this, which is what's amazing. And then be sure to comb through your knees. Comb through your knees now too, because the knees need love, and they do so much for us all the time. So combing through and making sure the energy flows up and down the knees is really helpful, and down your hips. And yeah, isn't that nice? Just a little combing of the golden energy. Golden energy, to imagine that it's really safe. It's a nice higher frequency. It's not too high. It's not burdensome. Now with Reiki, I use Reiki too, like this.
What is Reiki?
So Reiki is a crystal clear energy. So we're using chi. So we're using the life force or the ki. So ki is the Japanese word for life energy. Prana is the more prana is more when you get into yoga and studying and more of the it's the word's escaping me. There's a correct term for it, but So there's pranic healing in the prana, and then you have ki is the Japanese version and chi is the Chinese version. So Reiki is of the heavens, which is Rei, and then Ki, which is the life energy. So what happens with Reiki is you're attuned to a specific energy of the heavens that's a crystal clear energy that you pull in. And then you use that for healing, and it's divinely guided, so it goes where it needs to go. The golden energy is nice because you just are combing through and you're using this golden divine energy to help clear and melt blocks. You can overwork sometimes, but you just ask that you just do what's healthy and gentle at this time, and you just comb through your knees and comb through your legs. Make sure to comb your ankles, your feet, and then you just make sure the energy is flowing in a good way and you're not losing any energy. Mostly around the knees, the joints is where you can start to lose energy. So you want to comb it. And isn't that nice?
Yeah. So what does Reiki do for you?
So Reiki is basically, it's an extremely low frequency therapy that helps to reset the frequency. So it's great for brain entrainment. So if people have a really hard time meditating, I can just put a hand on either side and their brain waves will settle down and calm down and get them into a deeper meditative state. And sometimes it's more like a deep sleep state and their body will heal a little better. So that energy frequency is really helpful. It's divine, like I said, it's divinely guided, but it will increase the metabolism of the cells. It will increase their ability to release waste products. So like some people with holding, like if you have a muscle and you're holding it too long, you'll feel achy the next day. That's your lactic acid building up. Well, Reiki helps to move that out faster. So it's really great if I have clients that do some training and they don't want to be really sore. So they'll come in and just have a Reiki session because it'll move all that out. So you don't have that lactic acid causing soreness. So that's really helpful.
Also, I guess jobs which are highly stressful and
yes.
When you're dealing with people and when you might be dealing with the sensitivities and circumstances of other people, and you're consuming, you're surrounded in that environment where you're consuming a lot of negativity. Or negative energy or sadness, then I guess things like this, it helps you channel
let it go,
right? Other people's emotions, channel them out of your body.
Well, that's a process that I've been learning too, is you don't have to hold on to or absorb other people's emotions. And like as an empath, I always thought that when I was around other people that I would have to match them, but I don't. And you know what the secret is you just have to make sure you're in your grounding. So if your grounding is clear, you don't have to match their emotions or take them on. You just stay in your own space and you can be a compassionate observer and just be a witness for them. And I see that you're so stressed out and I understand that's so hard. And, and it's like you can hold space for that, but you don't have to pull it into you. And that's just something you have to learn. It's like practice. Yes. But being grounded and having your grounding like we did today, having that cylinder, envisioning it. And if you can just comb through it, you can comb through your own stomach and legs and the back of you to make sure that it's open and flowing.
And this is so crazy, right? Because there's no cost to it. It's not challenging anyone's religious beliefs. I don't think it is.
I don't think so either.
Because it's just mind and it's energy and it's teaching yourself how to channel it all out, right?
And be aware. And we just want to make sure that everybody can learn a healthy way of being emotionally aware and energetically aware. And if we can all do that, ooh, how amazing would this world be? Instead of yelling at someone and throwing your energy at them, you're like, ooh, I'm really upset right now. Give me a minute. And you can kind of like brush it off into the earth and make sure you release it and then be like, that really hurt my feelings. Like how great would that be?
Right.
I'm feeling really hurt and I'm not sure why, but I feel like this hurt when what you did was this big. So I'm not really sure. I'm going to think about that and come back to you. Like that would be
Self-healing.
awesome.
Self-healing, just channeling out your stress.
Just let it go. Don't give it to other people. That's really not very nice. It's kind of throwing your gremlins at them. But there's also the goal too, as like the best thing you can do is not really tell other people like you can't go into a business meeting and someone's being all yelly and maybe it's your boss and he's just like, oh, I wish you would be on time and I hate that you did this. And you just kind of have to be like, okay. But what you want to learn how to do is to be really centered in your body and not panic. Check your grounding, make sure that's open, make sure your stress is flowing out and your emotions are flowing out. Wow, this is making me really nervous. Blow that out.
How frequently should you do that, Kim? I mean, you told me today, do it every day, 10 minutes.
Minimum twice a day is so helpful. And what I like for people to do when they book a session, so I'm doing a thing where we book a session. It's $111 and we do a full session. I check back in a few days. We've taught about the grounding and how to do that. And then I'll check back in a couple days later. How is your grounding? Oh, your grounding is blocked. Let's clear it real quick. I'm going to clear it. And then let's talk about ways that you can make sure you're clearing it. But you just have to do it kind of every day, a couple times a day, especially if there's a conflict. That's the hardest time to sit still though and do it. So it can be really tough. But the more you do it, the more that you see the benefits and how important it is, the better you'll be at it. It's really cool. But then, so what I'll come in and check like 2 days later, check your grounding, check how you're holding it. And then come back in 2 days later and I'll just do a quick little check and I'll just touch base and say, hey, I'm seeing that, like this part of your grounding is blocked. Just comb through it. I'll let you do it first and I'll come back and check and see how you did. So it's like a training process. So everybody can get really familiar at doing the basic maintenance. Yeah. So, and then the more that you do the basic maintenance, the more you're going to become aware. It's this really cool process. And that's just one of the things that I'm doing. Some people like really would benefit from a full on energy recentering, and there's so many different ways to do it. So it's just like I've got a lot of different tools in my belt to help make sure people become aware of what's going on, so they can
inside our body.
Yeah, it's just about bringing your awareness into your body, because literally everything can be fun, even healing. It doesn't have to be hard and it doesn't have to be painful. And if you think it does, then that's something to kind of wonder, why do I think that healing has to be painful, hard, and slow? Maybe it doesn't, maybe
it's about being in tune with yourself, right?
Yeah. Well, and some people have a lot of limiting beliefs that are inherited too. And those are harder to break because it's like, there's no way it's that simple and easy. You know what I mean? Like
human beings are consumed with limiting beliefs, right?
Yeah. And there's so many levels it can come in at. It can be learned. It can be inherited. It can be soul level traumas. It can be all kinds of things. So It's like, a history piece, like you're tapping into a history of a collective energy. Some people are empaths and just pick up all kind of stuff. But we don't have to. We can learn how to not do that anymore, so we can be healthy and in our own space and really aware of our own emotions and our own energy. And that's the key.
So, Kim, we are getting into the end of our show. First of all, I do appreciate you coming on here, teaching me, and you've spent so much time with me, making me understand, and for us to bring this on here. And as always, I hope, that as I find, as my journey continues in me trying to find my authentic self and was it you who said that we are like onions, or someone said that to me, that we are like onions, we have all these layers, that we are trying to peel so that we can actually get to the core and understand who we truly are and find ourselves. Because until we are authentic ourselves, our soul will always be unhappy. We will always be searching. We will not be at peace until we
So true.
connect to our true self and our authentic self. So it's so important for us to distance ourselves from everything that forces us not to be who we are. Because I feel that this whole world, each individual who's so different from each other, we are all so different from each other, we were meant to be a certain way. Otherwise, why would we be created the way we were created? And I think that's what our journey is, to find ourselves.
That's right. And we all bring something different in a different way that's so helpful to the whole. You know what I mean? Like, we can't exist without each other. And, and sometimes the grumpy person is actually an important player.
Yeah.
It's just as important as the happy person. And it's just learning to be okay with everybody and really seeing what that brings up for you. Like, what does that bring up when I'm around this really grumpy person? There's a part that I need to work on and embrace within myself. We all have the potential to be grumpy and lazy and all these things that we maybe don't like that we see in other people. But our job is to just know everybody's in their own path. Everybody's in their own place. All we can do is just love them and love ourselves and just do the best that we can and figure out who we are. That's all our responsibility is to love who we are and who that is, right?
Accept ourselves for who we are.
Yeah, exactly. And have fun with it. I feel like our job is to come down here where things are kind of crazy and figure out how to love ourselves and have fun.
One of the key things, most essential things that I have learned, Kim, in this journey of 5 years of self-discovery, and this realization just recently hit me, that when hardships and when challenges hit us in our life, they devastate us and they crush us, but we shouldn't take it as something, as a failure. When things come our way and when they don't work out, I just feel like it's like a multiple choice test where you select option A and that was not the right answer, and then you're being taken to the second choice or the third. You're trying to find, you're in this puzzle and you're trying to you're in not this puzzle, you're in this maze and you're trying to find your way out, and maybe you make a left turn and that's not the right turn and you come back, and yes, there's frustration, but this is just your journey in with trials and tribulations and
yeah.
I shouldn't even say failures, because I think they are all lessons trying to take you to a certain destination, or it's not even destination, right? It's all about the journey, like you said, to just enjoy the small moments.
It really is, like taking the time to pause every day, exhale, let it all roll off, and then just have fun.
Put some music on, jive, sing, dance, whatever it is that makes you happy. Be crazy.
Like you said, you'd had all the business challenges over the years, and I feel like the pandemic brought this opportunity for everyone to have this challenge. Slow down and pause and look at what's going on. What's the inner dialogue? What is the chaos? What is the war that's going on? Yeah. And take stock, and only we can change it no matter what happens. And it was kind of like I had that moment too, where it was like, I could lose everything, but I still have my family and we're healthy and I know how to help us stay healthy. So, that's all.
Absolutely. Just enjoy your journey and just try to live your best life. Just enjoy whatever moments come your way. When challenges come, you know what? Change. It's meant to change your course of or your direction, right? To take you.
you're getting to the pro level. Pro level is when you're like, oh, a conflict. Okay, cool. What am I going to learn from this?
Okay, no, I don't want that. I'm not ready. Fine. I just don't want to be in the pro level.
I mean, it happens. That's just life. The more we're around
I need
people,
a little break from the challenges. I just need some some
smooth sailing.
plateau time.
Ooh, yeah.
Where there's flow and there's energy and there's
Yeah.
beauty and there's music and there's beautiful water and mountains and rain,
All the good stuff.
all of the good stuff. I need some of that right now. Well, Kim, how about I let you give like a final, your final whatever, and then we end the show.
Oh, well, thank you so much for letting me be on here. And I'm happy to just touch base with anyone who's interested and curious, and just reach out. You can text or call. I don't mind. Email, whatever. Check my website and there's more info there. But thank you so much for having me on. I've loved this. And I hope you can keep working on it. Feel free to you talk to me about it too.
Absolutely. Well, Kim, thank you for being here. I'm going to remove you from the stream and end the show. And everyone, thank you again for taking the time out. Thank you to everyone who was listening and who listens. And thank you to all of you. You meet me, you message me, and you share your sentiments and your feelings and your encouragement. It means so much to me. I do appreciate it. And if you feel you would like to join my email list, email vip@saimadillon.com. And if you're listening to this podcast and you have a message you feel that can enrich people's life, and you'd like to be on the show, message me. Let's change lives together, and just take a little, a minute to subscribe, to comment, it just creates traction and it helps us spread the word to a wider audience. So thank you so much. Until next time, thank you.
Ah